Medline's CareConneciton Vital Solution enables caregivers to take the resident vitals, electronically transfer those vitals to the CareHub tablet, and then submit these vitals over the facility's Wi-Fi network to the resident's electronic medical record, or EMR. This allows caregivers to capture and submit vital readings at point of care. Once the caregiver has logged into the Capture app and has selected the desired resident, the caregiver can take the resident's blood pressure, pulse, oxygen level, and temperature on the Medline CareConneciton Vital System. Starting from left to right on the bottom row of buttons on the Vital System, the first button is the power switch. The Vital System boots up quickly in about 14 seconds. It is best practice to have the Vitals cart plugged in and charging at all times when the cart is not in use. The next button is the silence button. This button will silence any medical alarms for 2 minutes. To permanently silence an alarm, the caregiver can either retake the vitals measurement that triggered the alarm or turn the system off and on. The third button is the blood pressure button. With the blood pressure cuff on the resident, pressing this button once will inflate the cuff and post a reading. If the system cannot get a reading, the system will try again at a higher initial cuff pressure. Should the resident become uncomfortable, or if you want to stop the procedure for any reason, simply push the blood pressure button a second time to stop the cuff from inflating. The Vital System comes supplied with 3 blood pressure cuffs: Adult Small, Adult, and Adult Large. To change the blood pressure cuff, simply pull back on the spring-loaded connection ring on the blood pressure hose and the cuff will release. Insert the new cuff by pressing the fitting into the hose until it clicks in place. Please do not twist the connection ring, as this will eventually break the spring inside the ring. The last button on the bottom row acts as a toggle switch, switching the bottom of the display from a waveform to a text log, showing the alarms that have been registered on the system since booting up. Typically, this information is not needed, as real-time alerts for out-of-range readings are issued via the Capture app when submitting the vitals to the facility's EMR. For most long-term care operations, the system is left in the wave display mode. Starting at the top of the unit, the first button is the Patient Size button. This patient size abbreviation is shown in the blue status bar at the top of the display. ADU stands for Adult. If the Patient Size button is pressed, the Vital System's configuration will change from Adult to PED for Pediatric. If pressed again, the configuration will change to NEO for Neonatal, and then if pressed again, the patient size will loop back to Adult. Please note that for the Medline CareConneciton deployments, the patient size must be set to Adult. If Neonatal is selected, the system will not inflate the adult blood pressure cuffs as a safety feature and will post a loose cuff error message. Should this error happen, simply keep pressing the patient size button until ADU for Adult appears on the blue status bar. If Pediatric is selected, the blood pressure cuffs will inflate, but at a much lower initial pressure because of the smaller body size. You may not be able to get a reading on a normal-sized adult even after several tries. Pressing the second button from the top, which looks like a TV screen, will bring up a system menu. The next 4 buttons are used to program the Vital System with the factory defaults and will not need to be used by the caregiver. If the system menu is accidentally opened, simply press the TV button a second time to close the system menu screen. Now let's take a set of vitals. With the correct blood pressure cuff on the resident, press the blood pressure button once to start the blood pressure reading. While the cuff is inflating, the caregiver can also take an oxygen level reading with the SpO2 finger sensor. Please note that there is a top and a bottom to the oxygen sensor. The top has a picture of a finger and the bottom is smooth. Place the oxygen sensor on the resident's finger with the orientation of the resident's finger matching the picture on the top of the sensor, fingernail to fingernail. The oxygen reading is a live reading, so the caregiver will want to leave the oxygen probe on the resident's finger until the vitals are captured on the tablet. Lastly, the caregiver can take the resident's temperature. Based on the Vital System's configuration, either an oral temperature probe or tympanic temperature probe will be located on the right side of the unit. For the oral thermometer configuration, place a cover on the probe and insert the probe into the sublingual pocket under the tongue as shown. This is a predictive thermometer, and the system will calculate the resident's temperature based on how fast the probe warms up. After taking the temperature and before returning the thermometer to the holster, press the Capture Vitals button on the Capture app to transfer the vital readings from the Vital System to the tablet. Then, return the oral probe back to the holster, which clears and resets the temperature. For the tympanic thermometer configuration, remove the cover by pressing forward on the blue release tab. Turn the probe on by pressing the blue On Memory Switch button on the underside of the probe. Take the tympanic cover dispenser and slide the tube over the cavity to dispense a cover. Press the tympanic thermometer probe into the cavity to place the cover on the probe. Gently pull on the resident's earlobe as shown to straighten the ear canal and insert the probe into the ear canal as far as it will go. Press the blue button on top of the tympanic thermometer until the thermometer beeps. The temperature will display on both the LED display on the thermometer and also on the vital system. Eject the probe cover by pressing forward on the blue release tab and place the cover back on the unit. Please be sure to always have the probe cover on the unit when not in use, as dust will accumulate on the optical end of the probe cover and cause the thermometer to read low. The tympanic thermometer will turn itself off after a little more than a minute of inactivity, and the temperature will only stay posted on the vital system while the tympanic thermometer is on. So when taking a full set of vitals, take the tympanic temperature last, so that the temperature can be transferred to the tablet before the thermometer turns itself off. As before, press the Capture Vitals button in the residence window in the Capture app to transfer the vitals from the vital system to the tablet and then to the receiving EMR. If you need help in any way, our support group is here and happy to help. Please give the Medline CareConneciton support group a call at 1-855-695-4525.